Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to discuss about the bone radius. Okay, so guys, what do you know about the bone radius? As we all know that this is a bone of forearm, and the forearm consists of two bones, that is the radius and the other one is the ulna. These two lies parallelly to one another. This radius is the long bone in the forearm. Okay, let's write in your notes. It is the long bone in forearm. And the second point is that it lies laterally and parallel to the bone ulna. Okay guys, as we discussed, it is the long bone in the forearm and it lies laterally and parallel to the ulna. Okay, actually the bone radius is itself divided into three parts. The first one is proximal radius, the second one is shaft of radius, and third one is distal radius. Okay, now we are gonna discuss about each and every part in detail. Let's first discuss about the proximal radius. Okay, now keep a side heading in your notes that proximal radius. Okay guys, so what is this proximal radius? This proximal radius is the proximal part of the radius which attaches to the humerus. Attaches to humerus. This proximal radius is actually divided into three parts. So what are they? The first one is the head, second one is the neck, and third one is actually I want to discuss a topic with you guys before saying you the third one. That is when a muscle attaches to the bone, it attaches to a part called as tuberosity. This tuberosity is a rough part of the bone. So the third part is the radial tuberosity. So these are the three parts of the proximal radius, and let's discuss about the head of the radius first. This head of the radius, it is like a flat depression present on the head of the radius for the articular facet, so that it gives attachment to the humerus. It gives attachment to the bone humerus. So in medical terms, the head is known as caput. So here we are discussing about the head of radius. So it is called as caput radii. Head is also called as caput radii. So here the head articulates with the capitulum of humerus to form joint. Note this point. Head articulates with capitulum of humerus to form joint, that is elbow joint. And the head also articulates with the radial notch of ulna, also articulates with radial notch of ulna. So guys, don't be confused here. Radial notch of ulna, not the ulnar notch. Okay, this is, it attaches to the radial notch of ulna. It attaches via tuberosity, and this whole attachment is surrounded by this whole attachment is surrounded by a ligament called as annular ligament. Annular ligament. This whole attachment is surrounded by the annular ligament. So guys, this is all about the head of the radius. And now let's discuss about the second part, that is the neck of the radius. Keep a heading as neck of radius. So where does the neck of the radius starts? It starts at the lower margin of annular ligament. So I have told about the annular ligament before. It surrounds the radial notch of ulna with the radius. So that annular ligament is the neck starts from lower border or lower margin of this annular ligament. Okay, the neck starts from the lower border or lower margin of annular ligament. The neck is a narrow area of bone between the head and radial tuberosity. Okay, it is the narrow area of bone between what? Between the head and radial tuberosity. Between the head and radial tuberosity. So now let's discuss about the other important topic here. It's the radial tuberosity. So what is the radial tuberosity? As I told you before, the tuberosity is the site of attachment for the muscle on the bone. It is the rough end surface of the bone which helps for the attachment of muscle. Okay, this radial tuberosity is a oval shape and it's convex. This radial tuberosity, it is the structure just distal to the neck, present distal to the neck. And so you can ask that, sir, what is the use of this radial tuberosity? This radial tuberosity actually provides attachment for the biceps brachiae tendon. Radial tuberosity helps in attachment of biceps brachiae. Okay, it provides the attachment for biceps brachiae tendon. Whether you know or you don't know that biceps brachiae has two heads. One is the long head and one is the short head. So tell me that where is the long head originates from? The long head of biceps originates from the superior glenoid tubercle. Okay. From where the short head originates from? The short head originates from the coracoid process. It has two heads. It joins in middle. So it is called as belly of the muscle. And again it continues as a tendon. This biceps brachiae tendon gives insertion in the radial tuberosity of the radius. Okay. Till here about the radial tuberosity. And now let us discuss about the shaft of radius. Shaft of radius. The shaft of the radial bone is long, wide, and it is convex on lateral side. Convex on lateral side. As the radius bone goes down, it enlarges towards the wrist. Enlarges towards the wrist. It enlarges towards the wrist. It is a convex in lateral side. So this has three borders. The first one is anterior border, posterior border, and interosseous border. And it has again three surfaces like anterior surface, posterior surface, and lateral surface. So what are the three borders? Anterior, posterior, interosseous border. And what are the three surfaces? Anterior, posterior, and lateral surface. So you can have a doubt here. So why is this shaft of the radius important, and why should we study this? Because on this shaft of the radius there are several anatomical landmarks which allows for the origin and insertion of several tendon. Like there are several anatomical landmarks on its surface, and these anatomical landmarks which help for the origin and insertion of several tendon. Now let's discuss about the sides of this shaft. Let's first discuss about the lateral side. Okay, lateral side, the radius bone gives site of attachment for two muscles. So what are these two muscles? The first one is supinator muscles, which is present in the lateral aspect of radius, and it attaches to the radial head. So this is the name of the muscle supinator, and it attaches to the anatomical landmark, that is radial head. Okay. Now let's talk about the second insertion, that is It helps in attachment of pronator teres muscle. Where it attaches? It inserts in pronator tuberosity. So where is this pronator tuberosity is present? It is present just below the supinator attachment. So as I told that this supinator attaches in the radial head. So this pronator teres attaches in the pronator tuberosity. So where is this pronator tuberosity present? This is present just below the supinator attachment. Just below supinator attachment. So where is this supinator attaches and where is this where is this pronator tuberosity? Where is this supinator attaches and where is this supinator muscle attaches? It attaches in the radial head. And where is this pronator teres muscle attaches? It attaches pronator tuberosity. So now let's talk about the medial side. Medial side. So this medial side gives origin for two laterally attaching muscles. So what are the two muscles? Those are number one, write down flexor digitorum superficialis. Flexor digitorum superficialis. And the second one is flexor pollicis longus. Flexor pollicis longus. So what is this muscle? Flexor digitorum superficialis. Flexor. It is the action. It helps in flexion of bones. So this is digitorum. It supplies to the digits. And superficialis means it is a superficial muscle. Flexor digitorum superficialis. It helps in the flexion of digits and it supplies superficially. Okay. So flexor pollicis longus. It is a long flexor muscle. So where is this flexor digitorum superficial located? In the medial side of the shaft of the radius. So where is this flexor pollicis longus situated? This flexor pollicis longus, it is located inferior to origin of flexor digitorum superficialis. Okay, this flexor pollicis longus, it is attached inferior to the origin of flexor digitorum superficialis. Okay, here is the third muscle. It is brachioradialis muscle. It is attached just above the styloid process. Just above styloid process at anterior suprastyloid crest. At prastyloid crest. This brachioradialis is located just above the styloid process and it is located at suprastyloid crest. Okay, here we are completed with the medial side. Now let's talk about the posterior side. Okay, now let's talk about the posterior side. In posterior side also, the origin of two muscles is takes place. Okay, what are those muscles? The first one is abductor pollicis longus. So, what is the site of attachment? It originated just below the posterior margin of attachment of supinator muscle. Where it is originated? It originate just below posterior margin of attachment of supinator muscle. Supinator muscle. So, what is the second muscle? That is extensor pollicis longus. Extensor pollicis longus. This is about the posterior side. Now the shaft of the radius is completed and so what is the next part? That is the distal part of radius. This distal part of radius has two landmarks. So what are the two landmarks? The first one is dorsal tubercle and the second one is ulnar notch. So let's first discuss about the dorsal tubercle. So in general, what is a tubercle? It is a projection like structure. So where is this dorsal tubercle present? It is present in the posterior aspect of tail head of radius. So students, I'm not writing whole for posterior here. I'm writing it in a shortcut. So please do understand. So what is this dorsal tubercle is used for? This dorsal tubercle helps in the attachment for three muscles. Those are extensor carpi radialis longus. The second one is extensor carpi radialis brevis. So here what is longus? Actually, longus means long. And what is brevis? Brevis means short. Whenever you see a longus in a muscle, like this extensor carpi radialis longus, you have to imagine that this is a long muscle. Whenever you see the word brevis in a muscle, that means this is a short muscle. Okay, extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis. So now what is the third muscle here? The third muscle is the extensor pollicis longus tendon. So what are the three muscles which are inserted into the dorsal tubercle? Those are extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis, and extensor pollicis longus tendon. So I told you about the first landmark, that is the dorsal tubercle. It is completed, and let's discuss about the second landmark, that is the ulnar notch. Okay, now let's discuss about ulnar notch. This ulnar notch is only helping us with one function, that is it forms joints with ulna. So what is this joint named? It is named as radio ulnar joint, that is distal one, because we are discussing about the distal part of the radius. Actually there are two radioulnar joint, one is proximal and the other one is distal. Proximal is in the proximal radius and the distal is in the distal radius. So this radioulnar joint is divided into two types, that is the proximal radioulnar joint and the distal radioulnar joint. So proximal radioulnar joint forms in the proximal radius and this distal radioulnar joint formed in the distal radius. Okay, keep this part aside and let's discuss about our main topic. So this ulnar notch forms a joint with ulnar bone. This joint is called as radioulnar joint. Which radioulnar joint? The digital radioulnar joint. So and again, the distal surface of radius has two facets, two articular facets. The distal surface of radius has two articular facets. So what are the articular facets? These are the processes which attaches to the other bone which forms a joint. So distal surface of the radius has two articular facets. For what, sir? So for what are these two articular facets are for? So these are for articulation with scaphoid and lunate carpal bones. For articulation with scaphoid and lunate carpal bones. So this distal surface of radius has two articular facets. So what are these articular facets used for? These are for the articulation with scaphoid and lunate carpal bones. It makes up the wrist joint. So this is our today's topic completed. Thanks for watching and share with your friends and share with your fellow groupmates, classmates, and you know what to do. Please subscribe. So guys, if you have any problem with today's class, matlab with the explanation part, the past videos I have done with a paper and pen. I wrote with my own hand, but I'm changing the pattern of teaching. This is my first video with this kind of teaching, so पहले video है ना, there will be some mistakes and all, so I hope you forgive. And if you have any suggestions for me, please write down in the comment box below. If you have any doubts also, you can write in the comment box below. I will just clarify in the next video. And the topic for next video is the bone ulna. Okay guys, see you in the next video. Thank you for watching and goodbye.